Should you skip the toys and just give kids the cardboard box? This mom probably thinks so.
You want to go for a walk?
Those words would make most dogs wag their tails, but in this case, the cat is thrilled. It was her first time in a harness, and that phrase made this kitty tumble down the stairs in excitement.
You want to go for a walk?
Race you to the front door.
And my own son.
This patient just wanted a little relief from her chiropractor's adjustment. Instead, with the help of a Grinch mask, the patient was scared off the table.
A high-speed pursuit filled with drama. The yellow sports car up ahead won't stop. Then, something happens you might expect in a Spider-Man movie. A high-tech device is being deployed to bring the high-speed chase to a screeching halt. It's like a netting from a giant spider web. Look how it's activated under the rear tire. It wraps around the tire of the fleeing vehicle and stops all forward motion. And get this, the device, which is being introduced by police departments everywhere, was invented by a roofer with zero law enforcement experience. Leonard Stock had the idea after watching a deadly high-speed chase live on TV. Here's a good look at how it works. As the net is unfurled, police get as close as they can to the fleeing suspects. Whoosh, there it goes. The chase is brought to an end without anyone getting injured.
Why is Dad playing the trumpet in his car? He's picking his daughter up from school and found a surefire way to find her in the crowded parking lot. Look, there's Dad popping his head through the sunroof. Finally, success! His daughter gets in the car.
Check out this scare on the highway. A trooper speaking to a driver during a traffic stop in Oklahoma, and all of a sudden, another driver crashes into them, sending the trooper and car parts flying. Incredibly, the trooper and the two drivers are all okay.
A deer trapped between the bars of a fence gets help from Louisiana firefighters.
Start feeding her legs. Put her legs down and grab her behind her hind quarters.
Several members of the St. George Fire Department responded to the distressed animal. Some kept her calm, while others pried the bars apart, giving the deer enough room to escape.
There she goes.
The front door kicked open as a deputy responded to a house fire. Flames could be seen through the window. The deputy tried to put the fire out with a blanket but was unsuccessful. More deputies with the Macomb County Sheriff's Office in Michigan arrived with fire extinguishers.
Get the dog out, get the dog out.
Everyone, even the dog, got out of the home and was taken to the hospital, including first responders who suffered from smoke inhalation.
I love you.
Say what? Did that 3-month-old really say, I love you? Proud dad Ted Moskalenko from North Carolina posted the video on YouTube, and it's triggering a national debate. Did he or didn't he?
It was an utter shock to me because it was really, I guess, his first words. And seeing him mimic me was just unbelievable.
Proud parents Ted and Michelle are convinced little Ben is talking.
He kind of paused, looked at me, and repeated the words. Now, I know he doesn't know what they mean yet, because it's not like he can talk, but the fact that he was able to reproduce the exact sound so closely was really impressive.
We tried to get the little guy to repeat it just for Inside Edition viewers.
Let's see if you can say something.
But no luck.
The old human hands instead of dog paws trick. That one never gets old. Except to this dog, who does not want to eat that broccoli. We get it.
It was a team effort to rescue a family dog who fell through thin ice. The Colorado Springs Fire Department says 2 crews suited up to extract the pup from the frigid water. Rather than risk their own lives, community members called 911 to let the professionals handle this dangerous situation. For everyone's safety, firefighters say to keep pets on tight leashes when around water. No one knows why this goat got on a California rooftop, but we know who brought the goat down. The Glendale Fire Department says they lent a helping hoof to rescue a goat from a tiled roof and deliver it back to its human family.
Home improvement expert Jason Cameron says most doors are not secured properly when they're installed. How easy is it to kick down the door?
That was way too easy. That's ridiculous.
Fortunately, there are things you can do to turn your front door into a fortress. First tip, instead of small screws, drill in 3-inch screws right into the frame. Second tip, install a large steel strike plate like this.
We've got 6 screws here that are in the framing, and we also have a much larger strike plate. This is a security strike plate because that's going to distribute the force.
Third tip, add a reinforcement lock that blocks the door from the inside.
This is where they're going to kick. So you want this at the point of impact.
Jason kicked the door 25 times. Back kick, even body slams. The fortress door holds firm.
Imagine it's Christmas Day and this guy steals your bike. Well, it actually happened to a teenager in Winter Haven, Florida. This is video of the suspect who police say rode off with it. The Polk County Sheriff's Office says the girl rode her bike to a Circle K gas station, parked it outside, while she went in for less than 10 minutes. That's when investigators say this Grinch, wearing khaki pants, a camo t-shirt, and white shoes, took off with it. The bike is black, white, and blue. Anyone with information that can be helpful to investigators is asked to contact police.
Abolitionist Harriet Tubman will soon be honored with a 3-coin set by the U.S. Mint. Pre-orders are being taken for the $5 gold coins, $1 silver coins, and $50 clad coins bearing the freedom fighter's likeness.
I have never seen anything like this before.
A woman can only watch as a house floats in the waves during a storm. Christina Alden says she shot the video in Maine. The house had been on its own small private island. She says it stayed in one piece and finally came to a rest on some rocks. Now the owners are trying to figure out what to do with it. But she says fortunately none of them were home when this house started rocking.
I have never seen anything like this before.
Here it is, the $20,000 chip.
Bet you've never seen one of these before. A puffy Dorito. And it just made this 13-year-old $20,000 richer. When Riley Stewart opened the bag at home in Australia, she found one of the chips completely bloated.
I looked at it and I thought, this looks a bit funny.
So she went on TikTok to share her find, writing, "I found a puffed Dorito. Is this valuable or should I just eat it?" Thankfully, she didn't chow it down because Doritos decided to give her a $20,000 reward for finding the perfect puffy chip.
I honestly thought it might have made a couple of people laugh, and then that was it.
That's one pricey snack.
A 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit Japan on January 1st, triggering a tsunami warning. This footage, captured inside a convenience store in the city of Nagano, was taken as the earthquake struck.
It's a toxic mess. A river in southern Brazil ran with thick foam after a truck crashed and spilled sulfonic acid into the waterway. The substance can be harmful to humans. A state of emergency was declared in Santa Catarina as people in surrounding communities rely on the river for water.
A Japan Airlines plane burst into flames as it landed in Tokyo. Authorities say the aircraft collided with another plane before catching on fire. 17 people on the Japan Airlines flight were injured, but all 367 passengers and 12 crew members escaped alive.
A possible attempted kidnapping caught on camera. Watch as a man in khaki shorts grabs a 4-year-old's hand and appears to try and take off with him. The boy's sister sees what's happening, grabs her brother's arm, and takes him back. It all happened during the day at a Lehigh Acres, Florida Walmart. The man and a woman he was walking with finished shopping and proceeded to the register to pay. After paying, they can be seen leaving in a black Ford Edge. According to a probable cause statement, deputies say. The children's mom, who was shopping in the same aisle where this all took place, called for security and they called 911. A license plate scan led police to the suspect, identified as Pablo Pintuelas Hernandez. Deputies say Hernandez was seen wearing the same clothes as in the store. He was taken into custody and charged with false imprisonment of a child.
A sign of hope for a critically endangered species. A western lowland gorilla baby was born at a zoo in Prague. Once the baby grows up, the zoo hopes to transfer it to another zoo where it can breed and pass the torch to a new generation.
Smoke, sparks, and flames. The New York Fire Department says within 20 seconds, a lithium-ion battery set off a 2-alarm fire at an e-bike shop. Flames consumed the store. Thankfully, a tenant in the upstairs apartment smelled the smoke and got out safely. There were no injuries.
Brooke Eby is 34 years old and has ALS.
I think I was crying and I think my sister was crying. I think my parents were trying to hold it together, but also like everyone was just so shocked. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Like I can still be myself. I can still, laugh even at the darkest things, which has always been my coping mechanism.
That mindset has guided Brooke.
I just started sharing like funny things that had happened to me since being diagnosed. I'm Brooke and I'm better at dying than you are. Maybe. Do we like it? I have honestly, it's been like therapeutic for me because rather than thinking about every aspect of ALS as sad, I'm thinking of it as like, where's the joke in this? And it's somehow been, like a fun year and a half as much as it's been hard.
What is Inside Edition? It's this. And this. And this. And also this. It's sometimes this. It's never this. But it always brings you more to the story. And now it's always available. Inside Edition streaming.
Carrie and Clayton Law love their 7-year-old golden doodle named Cecil, even after Cecil ate $4,000 in cash.
I was like, he ate the money, he ate the $4,000.
The cash lay on the kitchen counter. It was money to pay for a new outdoor fence. Cecil apparently found the cash just too appetizing to ignore. He gobbled it all up. Then Cecil started throwing up.
Once we realized like it was in his system and it was coming out one end, I was like, well, he normally goes number 2 twice a day. So I'm like, I should follow him and just see if anything comes out.
They posted the cash cleaning process.
How much money were you able to retrieve?
A little over $3,500.
That's amazing.
The bank was able to replace most, but not all of the bills.
So I called the bank and they said this actually happens more than you would think. Money goes through so many like restaurants and it touches so many hands and it just acquires all of these smells. And so dogs really like the smell of money.
Carnation milk. The best in the land. Comes in a tin with a red and white band. No to pull, no hay to pitch. Just punch 2 holes in the son of a
96-year-old Grandma Helen from Bloomfield, Iowa, has stolen hearts after reciting a carnation jingle from her youth.
And oh my goodness, I remember that clear through now, all these years. But I did not repeat it to my family because I do not swear. I startled my 2 daughters when I did repeat it. I got their attention.
She also got Carnation's attention.
Here they were, ready to sponsor a 96-year-old woman. And yes, I was shocked, pleasantly. Just punch 2 holes in the son of a
These grandkids are piling plates on their sleeping grandpa. It gets higher and higher and higher. Hey, Grandpa, wake up.
This fellow is about to propose. He set up the camera, but the little girl decides now's the perfect time to step into the shot. Oh no, there goes that magical moment. Fortunately, she still said yes.
I think she didn't record it.
A child went missing after dark, sending police on a search through a heavily wooded area. Officers with the Robbinsville, New Jersey Police Department used a drone and its thermal heat technology to find the kid. This video shows the side-by-side comparison of what the area looked like in the pitch black. Thankfully, the child was located 10 minutes later and reunited with their family.
It's a very unusual eviction. A man armed with a paintball gun climbs into the crawl space beneath a home. Shots ring out. And look what comes out. It's a giant black bear.
Big bear, oh my goodness.
So, who would dare enter a crawl space knowing there's a bear inside? His name is Toogie Silch. He lives in Lake Tahoe, where he tracks bears.
He's 500 pounds easy.
Look what happened earlier this month. He's trying to oust a bear from underneath another home before it settles in for winter hibernation.
Come on now.
He screams at the beast.
Hey.
The bear pokes her head through the window.
Go on now.
Then she's out of there, running straight into the camera.
Perfect.
It's man versus coyote. And this guy isn't about to lose his tussle with the wild animal. Timothy Snipe was out in his yard in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, with his pint-sized chihuahua named Roxy. Suddenly, Roxy noticed the coyote and ran right for it. Despite wearing a bathrobe and slippers, he knew that unless he fought off the animal, Roxy was a goner. The animal fights back, biting Snipes multiple times. So he grabs the coyote by the tail. Snipes carries him over to a garbage bin and drops him inside like trash. Animal control showed up to take the coyote away. Snipe is taking no chances. From now on, Roxy will be wearing this spiky harness that will make any coyote think twice before trying to chomp down on this feisty little gal.
Hidden black ice on the roadway sent a police vehicle skidding, barely missing an Overland Park, Kansas police officer. The officer was responding to a car that had slid off the road. Another driver hit the ice and collided into a police SUV that was assisting the officer wearing the body camera. This chain reaction could have been tragic. Authorities say the driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries, but the officer was unharmed.
A building fire in China had people jumping for their lives. Video shows people leaping from second-story windows in the complex. Reports say 39 people died in this fire, but those lucky enough to escape had to make the tough decision to jump.
Not sure what this pig wanted to order, but it made a run through a McDonald's drive-thru. It took the pig's owner, plus troopers from the Ohio State Highway Patrol to finally wrangle this porker. The pig was eventually captured, though it might have been easier if they'd just lured him with French fries.
This flyover was not planned. Pilots had to make an emergency landing during a training mission in Turkey. People on the ground were understandably alarmed, but the plane did land safely and no one was hurt.
Some pillows. Nicole McGinnis always dreamed about buying a house on the beach, making her search even more exciting, an appearance on the HGTV show Beachfront Bargain Hunt. But look at this, a small but noticeable lump on her throat. Dr. Eric Voigt was watching the show at his home in New York. He's an ear, nose, and throat surgeon.
I was like, gosh, I feel obliged to let this person know. They may not know they have something, and as an expert in the field, I was concerned for her.
He used social media to track down Nicole. Nicole went to her doctor, and sure enough, she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
So last week I went in and had a biopsy, and Friday is when the doctor called back and said, you actually do have papillary thyroid cancer.
We brought Dr. Voigt and Nicole together.
I know you're going to do well.
Thank you so much. You have no idea how much you've impacted my life just seeing me on the television.
A Porsche spins out of control twice during a police pursuit. Check it out again.
Whoa, oh no! Oh, lost control!
This was the scene in West Covina, California. Troopers say they tried to pull the driver over after he failed to yield. The Driver eventually surrendered to law enforcement. He got out of his car with his arms out wide and was taken into custody.
Trying to warm up with a bowl of ramen? These noodles froze in mid-air because they weren't eaten fast enough. And this fried egg turned into an egg-sicle. Not exactly an appetizing breakfast. Looks like the freezing temperatures in Canada are making life more difficult.
A retiring police canine was sent off with a sweet treat. Canine Officer Bain retired from Florida's Fort Walton Beach Police Department after 5 years on the force. As a formal ceremony can be a little boring for a dog, Bain was treated to a bowl full of whipped cream to get him through the formalities.
Well, I'll miss you. You've been a great police dog. Godspeed, my friend, and thank you for all your service.
A trip to the garbage can turned this 7-year-old into a hero when he found a bag of stolen cash near the scene of a robbery.
I didn't really know at all what I thought.
Griffin Steele and his father Shane were at a gas station putting air in their tires.
I got thirsty, so we went to the store, but before we went in, I found this $20 bill and it had this red dye on it.
A little strange, so he showed it to his dad.
Griff picked it up and handed it to me, but the side of it was red and it looked, I don't know, it was just odd.
But then Griffin went to the garbage bin.
I had some wrapping from my Gatorade bottle, so I went to the trash can and I threw it in, and there was tons of money with red dye on it.
And he goes, "Dad, this whole trash can full of money."
They called the police, and it turned out a bank had just been robbed about an hour earlier.
Hey, Repo Man, no way you're taking my truck. The driver guns the gas as he does his best to take off. But the wheels just go round and round. Then this happened.
That was a first. I had never seen one of my trucks go up in the air that way.
Now look, the pickup truck flies off the tow truck. That didn't go as expected. It's a photo that seems to show ordinary people lending a hand to a flood victim. Or does it? The woman getting the free ride is a TV reporter who, get this, doesn't want to get her expensive shoes wet. Lydia Cumming is a 24-year-old reporter who hitched a ride with this couple while reporting on devastating floods in Mexico. That's her TV microphone in her right hand. Her press credentials dangle around her neck. As for those expensive shoes, they're nice and dry. The internet lit up with mocking memes like these. There's Lydia being carried to safety in Star Wars. And who knew she was on the Titanic? Twitter lit up too. Why doesn't she take off her shoes instead? Another post, you would think that wearing maybe rain boots in a flooded area would be common sense. Makes sense to us.
Aww. When students at Joshua High School in Texas found out that their math teacher, Mrs. Andrews' beloved cat Blondie, passed away after 16 years, they decided to surprise her with 2 kittens.
Are these mine? Yeah. Oh. All of this is yours.
Rachel adds that when tears started to flow down Mrs. Andrews' face, everyone in the classroom had tears in their eyes as well. She named her 2 kittens, Missy and Girly.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. Here. Oh.
These high school kids are being hit with pepper spray by their teacher. Look, as he goes down the line, screams erupt. The teenagers scream in agony as the effects of the pepper spray kick in. Some writhe in pain. The screams get louder. It happened during a class on criminal science technology in a high school outside Akron, Ohio. The teacher is the town's former police chief, Jeremy Milford. The parents of all the students signed waivers which warned, "Dear parent or guardian, each student will receive a quick burst with this chemical agent. It will cause irritation and a burning sensation to the eyes and nasal area for approximately 30 minutes to 1 hour.
It hurt for a couple days. Like if you went to go get in the shower, it still had resin in your eyes and it still burnt.
Love in an elevator.
You can't make this up. The bride is stuck in the elevator.
At least she had champagne. Melissa Roger missed the cocktail hour for her wedding reception because she was here, stuck in an elevator. Firefighters had to pry the doors open and say they've never seen anything like it. The whole thing took about 45 minutes, but it's a story that'll last a lifetime.
You look at this dilapidated car and you wonder, how can it even run? It's like a poster child for the junkyard with a smashed in front and a broken windshield. The hood actually has to be tied down. Roxanne Tackett and her husband would often see the banged up Hyundai in the parking lot at this Cracker Barrel restaurant in Branson, Missouri, and were stunned to learn that it belonged to one of the waitresses.
It got me to work, got me home.
The next time the Tacketts dined at Cracker Barrel, they made sure that Cindy was their waitress.
And they left me a big tip.
But there was much more to come, as Cindy learned when they took her outside, and Gary Tackett gave her the keys to the best tip of her life.
No way.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It's a dream to drive.
Cindy now rides in style at the wheel of a 2008 Ford Fusion, thanks to the kindness of strangers.
Powerful stories. Impactful investigations.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah.
What? And a little bit of fun.
Your spear's in the pool!
On Inside Edition streaming.
Would you know what to do if you fell down a flight of stairs? Stuntman Zachary Hubert of Hollywood Stunts NYC showed us there is a right way to fall.
Number 1, you gotta protect your head.
What's step 2?
Step 2, you gotta ball up. You're not gonna go down a flight of stairs. If you're falling, you need to be like a ball. You need to roll.
Here he goes. So Zach, our stuntman, did exactly what he said he was going to do. He tucked his chin to his chest, he used his arms to protect his head, he rolled himself up in a ball, and he hoped for the best.
It's a very visual reminder of what can happen if you don't obey traffic laws. The Turkish government is placing scrapped cars on pedestals along roadways. They're meant to reinforce speed limits and laws against drunk driving and using phones while driving. They're easy to see, but hopefully not easy for drivers to forget.
A snake hitchhiked from Mexico into Canada inside a box of tomatillos. The northern cat-eyed snake was found by a worker responsible for sorting the incoming produce. It must have been a shock, but not necessarily a dangerous one. While cat-eyed snakes do have a mild form of venom, it only works on small prey, not humans. Since the weather in Canada is very different from the reptile's native climate, the Toronto Wildlife Centre is keeping the snake warm in a humidity and temperature-controlled environment.
35 years ago, serial killer Ted Bundy was executed in the state of Florida. One woman who survived being attacked by him says she had the opportunity to bear witness, but chose to move on instead.
I had given him enough mental energy. I was not going to give him another time to face me or me face him and see him die.
Kathy Kleiner Rubin was just 20 years old in 1978 when she says Bundy let himself into her sorority house at Florida State University. Her book, A Light in the Dark, Surviving More Than Ted Bundy, details what happened that night. Kathy said it was important that her book set the record straight on who Bundy really was.
Bundy was not the cute guy that everyone thought he was. He wasn't smart. He wasn't good. He was just a bad person. He would kill to collect the souls of the women he killed, and he killed up to 32 that we know of.
The sauce came out to rescue this curious canine. Teddy the dog got his head stuck in the wheel of a golf cart. Members of the LA County Fire Department's FS 144 say they have a reputation for rescuing our fur babies. It took caring and precise hands to cut the tire while comforting the dog, and thankfully, it all worked out. Despite the ordeal, Teddy wasn't hurt.
It's a life or death struggle in the family backyard between a hawk and a little Yorkie. The bird of prey sees the dog as his next meal. The Yorkie's owner realizes what's happening and tries to shoo off the hawk. No luck. So she grabs a seat cushion and whack. The red-tailed hawk knows he's met his match and flies off.
I was screaming like bloody murder.
And here's the injured Yorkie, Lulu, with her owner, Cecilia Sellis, who lives in Las Vegas. Lulu and her sister Heidi weigh just 2 pounds each. Cecilia says the hawk ripped a deep hole in Lulu's neck.
So we took her to the vet, and they told us that luckily I got there in time.
From now on, Cecilia says she'll be watching her beloved Yorkies like a hawk.
You've never played Tetris like this before, on one of the biggest screens in the world. The Consumer Electronics Show is going on in Las Vegas, and to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the beloved game, it will play on the exosphere through the duration of the event. Anyone else feel old knowing Tetris is 40?
Who doesn't like chicken wings?
That's actually the wrong way to eat it, Steven.
This is wrong?
That's wrong.
Could it be true? Am I so clueless I can't even eat a chicken wing correctly? Yes, says lifestyle expert Brittany Levine.
I'm gonna show you the right way to eat a chicken wing.
Okay.
What you're gonna do is you're gonna look at it, see where that fatty side is, and you're gonna wiggle the bones out of the wing. See how it just comes right out?
What? Look at that.
And there's no meat on that, okay? And next you have your bigger bone. You're gonna slide that guy right out.
Holy smokes, that's
no meat
totally
on that
clean.
bone
Wow.
either, okay? And now I can just dip it right in and eat my chicken wing.
So that's one big wing bite, no bones. Making a BLT is easy, right?
Put a couple pieces of bacon.
Yeah, that's actually wrong.
This is wrong?
That's wrong. Oh, see, you didn't get the full perfect bite.
There's not a lot of bacon in that.
Nope.
Brittany shows me how to make a BLT the right way. Just build a bacon lattice. First, cut the bacon in half, then weave the pieces together.
Over, under, over. And then you're just gonna slide it into the oven.
Pop that
Thank
thing
you.
in. There we go. 10 minutes later, bacon lattice.
Let's finish this thing off. And now,
The big kahuna,
yes,
the bacon lattice.
the bacon lattice.
That looks good.
Bacon in every bite.
Shoveling snow is easy when you have a hard-working, four-legged helper to assist. For Delilah from Des Moines, Iowa, snow days are the best days.
She just always is up for the next adventure, so it's pretty fun, and she obviously loves it.
Most New York City locals want nothing to do with rats. Kenny Bulwark's job is looking for them.
Like, I don't know, like rats, videos, I don't think that's gonna be a good combination.
But it was. His videos are so popular, he now offers rat tours.
Yeah, it takes about an hour, and we stop along the way, take pictures, videos, all that kind of stuff. People are just excited to be out in the wilderness of New York City, walking around like a safari and looking for rats. It's awesome.
His hobby has earned him the nickname Rat Daddy.
So many people have already started copying and going around the city, but everyone always goes into their comments is like, no, there's only one rat daddy, you can't replicate it. Yeah, there's only one rat daddy right here, so.
You know, we put saints up on pedestals, but we ignore them.
I think Petrosino's story is important because it tells another version of the Italian immigration story to America.
Giuseppe Joe Petrosino was an immigrant who believed in the American dream. He worked his way up the ranks of the NYPD, becoming the first Italian detective on the force. He was even nicknamed the Italian Sherlock Holmes. But at the height of his career, Petrosino went to Italy on a covert mission to bust up organized crime.
One evening, he eats dinner in a restaurant in Palermo. As he walks out of the restaurant into the piazza, he is shot multiple times and killed.
Petrosino was 48 years old. He was survived by his wife and infant daughter. His death is the only murder in NYPD history to have occurred overseas. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Sal Bono, and this is New York Gritty.
This flight attendant is sharing secrets that airlines won't tell you.
You might want to think about ordering something other than coffee or tea.
We went to Air Hollywood and met up with flight attendant Jamila Hardwick, who says her colleagues never order warm beverages when they fly.
The thing about the coffee and the tea is that the pipes are rarely cleaned.
Airlines are only required to disinfect and flush the water tanks 4 times a year. Fine, no coffee. How about Diet Coke? She says flight attendants have an issue with pouring Diet Coke because it fizzes up more than any other soda.
I don't know what it is about the chemistry in Diet Coke and us being 40,000 feet in the air, but by the time it takes us to pour one Diet Coke, we could have 3 other drinks poured.
Ari Kannanen from Finland has one of the grossest jobs on the planet.
I've combined 2 of my favorite things, cleaning and helping others.
The 30-year-old charges her clients nothing.
I always clean for free. These people, usually they have like money problems, they eat poorly, their homes are messy, they like sleep poorly, they have all kinds of issues. So they need their money more than me.
Ari's entertaining videos are full of mold, wall cheese, and even creepy crawlies.
Feel like they are more scared of me than I'm scared of them. I want to clean the rest of my life. It's so satisfying.
See the tiger? Now see this woman climb over a fence to grab her hat that fell off inside the tiger's pen.
What is going on?
This is video of the incident at the Toronto Zoo. Once she climbs back over to a safe area, the tiger, who's kept in a second fence, stays close to all the visitors to check them out. The woman then gets into an argument with a man who watched the whole thing go down.
You're a moron. You're a moron. And you're a moron. And you taught these children that you're a moron.
Another woman tries to break it up.
A woman is taking the trash out, but there's something stuck at the bottom of the garbage bin. She tries to reach for it. Uh-oh. She's stuck upside down. Wiggling her legs doesn't help. That's one stinky situation.
Inside Edition producer Allison Hall shows us what it's like to be trapped inside the trunk of a car.
It's really tight back here, and I can hear everything. The engine roaring, going over puddles. It's pretty terrifying.
Every car made in America after 2002 has an emergency trunk latch, just like this one.
Where will I find that? How will I know that it's there?
Different cars have different spots. If you have your phone, use your light from your phone, or even with your eyes closed, feel along the trunk or the sides. That pull release will be there.
But even in the darkness, I can see the lever here. So it's glowing really brightly. I'm gonna try to pop open this trunk. Let's see what happens. Look at that, that was so easy.
You don't want to wait for that car to be stopped because you don't know where it's going. As soon as you steel yourself and you feel mentally and physically ready, pull that latch and run for your life.
If you don't like spiders, turn away now because this video could be the stuff of nightmares. Meet Hercules, not a deity from Greek mythology, but a supersized funnel web spider. The average members of this species grow up to 5 centimeters. Hercules measures 7.9 centimeters wide. Then there's the fangs. Those sharp points are capable of piercing a human fingernail, and they emit a deadly venom. Not sure if it makes you feel any better, but it's been decades since anyone has died from one of the spider's bites. Hercules is actually going to participate in the Australian Reptile Park's anti-venom program. Keepers will carefully milk his fangs to use his natural poison to create the antidote. Hercules was turned into the Australian Reptile Park by a member of the general public. At least now he's amongst spider keepers who know how to handle him.
There's something very different about Megan. One leg is normal, but the other leg is double the size. When Megan was 15, she developed a condition called lymphedema, which caused fluid to build up in her right leg.
It was absolutely devastating to get the news that this was going to be the way I had to live for the rest of my life.
Megan spends an hour each day using a special compression machine to relieve the pressure in her leg. And finding clothes she can fit into is just one of her challenges.
These are the only kind of jeans that I can wear. They are wide leg.
Megan is so self-conscious about her leg, she hides it from everyone. When she started a relationship with her boyfriend, Rob, Megan tried to hide her leg from him for 9 months. But guess what? He'd already noticed. He was so in love, it didn't matter.
No more hiding. This is my life and this is what I have to deal with.
They make it look so cool in the movies, but this alleged thief couldn't pull off the break glass then roll through the window move. Unfortunately, this not-so-athletic burglar did get away with merchandise worth hundreds of dollars, and the Salinas Police Department is still looking for him. Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel. Amazing. Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.